I'd like to call to order the Meriwether County Board of Commissioners, March 24th, 2026 meeting at 6 p.m. Please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices. Please stand for the invocation given by Commissioner Gene King, followed by the pledge.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you at this time. We ask for you to watch over this meeting, help this board make proper decisions that represent the citizens throughout the county. We ask that you watch over the citizens of this county and bless them in every way possible. And if our soldiers that are overseas at this time, we look forward to having them come back safe to their families and give us guidance and on getting back home, return home safely. We ask you to forgive us for our sins, and we ask all these in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on this, we'd like to adopt the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. You want to go first, Ms. Stevens?
Yeah, the first change on the agenda, I noticed a typo under the public hearing. It should be a comma instead of a period for the 4,144 feet. We also need to add number 13 under new business, discussion of property taxes. John, you have another one?
We have also under new business number 14, Lake Meriwether baseball field. And there's no other additions.
Okay, are there any other additions?
No, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as outlined.
Second.
All in favor? Presentations, we have Meriwether County Transit Development Plan 2026 update. Stephanie Wagner, Three Rivers Regional Commission.
Commissioners, the Board of Commissioners will receive a presentation from Stephanie Wagner, Regional Planner with Three Rivers Regional Commission regarding the Meriwether County Transit Development Plan 2026 update. The Transit Development Plan is required to be updated every 5 years in accordance with GDOT requirements and is intended to analyze current transit conditions, identify needs, and guide planning for the next 20 years. The Three Rivers Regional Commission is assisting the county with this update through a 5304 grant and will lead the planning process, which includes stakeholder involvement, public outreach, and development of short and long-term transit goals.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Chairman and Board of Commissioners, for the citizens. My name is Stephanie Wagner. I'm a planner with Three Rivers Regional Commission, and I'm here to give you a short presentation of the transit development plan update that we'll be assisting with. Transit development plans are plans that analyze current conditions and identify transit needs to inform future planning for your community. What we're discussing tonight is a county level plan here in Meriwether County. And as was stated, these plans are expected to be updated every 5 years to meet Georgia's Department of Transportation or GDOT requirements. Meriwether County's most recent plan was done in 2020. That's sure the cover of it. Your county did an updated comprehensive plan more recently that might have discussed transit as part of your transportation analysis, but this plan will focus specifically on transit. Every community has people that ride transit, and so this will look at the people that are the most likely to have transit needs. People who ride transit include people that live with disabilities, senior citizens, people that are economically disadvantaged. They might have lower incomes, or their transportation budget might not be sufficient, where they have no car, or their family has just one car to spread between themselves. Other people that ride transit are the general public. For our transit system, that is people over the age of 16 or people riding with an adult. There are also transit users that are through human service agencies here in Georgia. Some of the agencies pay for transit trips for their clients to get to their destinations. Sorry,
Where's the one? There we go.
thank you. There are transit development plans of different scopes. There was a TDP transit development plan done for our region, the Three Rivers Regional Region, by GDOT back in 2025, and that analyzed transit here in our region. It's a 10-county region and 42 municipalities. GDOT also did a statewide transit plan back in 2020. And their state goal is to improve access and mobility for all Georgians to have access to transit. Those are links there if you wanted to look at those state or regional plans. That is a map from the state transit plan. That map is important because it shows all the counties and their different transit systems. The counties that are white are counties that do not yet have transit. And again, it's a state goal to strengthen transit access throughout the states. Meriwether County currently has a rural transit system. With your plan in place and the plan that we're going to update, now we're going to plan for the next 20 years to look at transit needs over the next 2 decades. Transit development plans are updated again every 5 years, but they have a 20-year planning horizon. So we'll look at over 20 years of what the demand might be for the community. Get that update, we get input from local stakeholders, and then the final plan should be adopted by your county commission. As was stated, we do have a grant through the states to assist the counties within our region. Excuse me, and that's 5304 funding. The state, in its support of ensuring that each county has a transit development plan, they issued a guidebook as a resource for us. And this guidebook has key components that we try to align all of our plan updates with to include key components. These components include a vision where the county establishes a transit vision. Public participation is obtained, and that's from people represented in your community and people that might need transit. And we do this public participation through central committees, public surveys, as well as stakeholder interviews. Then we do an analysis of the existing conditions, as well as system performance, and then transit trends. Another component is the needs assessment, where we take all this information and look at transit demand, and how many people might need transit and where that might be located. And then the final component is setting goals, short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. And that is linked to the guidebook that again will align this update with. Some of you might already be familiar with the Meriwether Transit System, others might want to get to know it more. It's operated by the Three Rivers Regional Commission. This is using a demand response model where customers request a transit trip 24 hours in advance, and the transit bus picks them up at their home and takes them to their destination. And trips are generally within Meriwether County, unless requests outside of the county are a different charge. Trips are $3 per trip. Service hours are Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 p.m. Meriwether County has the rural transit system, as do several other counties having standalone systems. We also have a 5-county regional transit system for Spalding, Butts, Lamar, Pike, and Upson. People within that 5-county regional system can have trips within those 5 counties. Your county provided 6,597 trips in fiscal year 2025.
And your packet may show something different. There was a typo, so.
Yes, I apologize. That was just a quarter of trips. There's more information on the Three Rivers Regional Commission website for our transit departments. And again, that map just shows the regional transit system and then the 5 standalone systems. The proposed timeline for this update is over the next few months, we would like to have some stakeholder meetings and do some public outreach activities. And then we'll be preparing the plan for your review in June, and hopefully bringing you a draft for your consideration of adoption in July. We have 4 planners on staff at the Three Rivers Regional Commission. This is a couple of us here, and we're looking forward to working with y'all. I'm happy to take any questions.
I don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you for everything that you guys have done. I've been here since you all initiated in the county. and it has brought a lot to the citizens. So thank you very much.
Maybe.
Thank you. Finance report given by Ms. Tammy Lackey.
Yes, Commissioners, these are the bank balances as of this afternoon. The funds from the 2020 T-Splost investment account were moved to the T-Splost account at F&M so that we can close the investment account. The Splost, Lost, and T-Splost distributions should be received next week. On the second page, the Splost balance is a negative 286,000. The T-Splost balance is a little over 1 million. And I also gave you a copy of the March credit card statement as you requested before. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions?
Isn't it a little late to be getting the February splosh, T-splosh and laws? I mean, usually we get it around our first meeting of the next month, and it's almost the end of March and
It comes in on the last day of the month,
on the last day of the month.
the last business day of the month. They usually, the county will receive it on Thursday. If the last day falls on a Friday, they receive it the day before. So the day before, the last day of the month is when the county receives the funds from the state.
So we've generally been receiving, say, February's.
January's payment will be received by February 28th. So we'll receive March 31st payment will be for the month of February. It's a month behind.
So okay.
In April, you'll see the March
That
amount.
makes sense, because you've been giving us a number on what it was, but we won't receive it until a different day.
Correct.
Got it.
Just a month behind. And I do want to clarify on the commitment page on the back end, the riding lawnmower, we do have a PO issued. The 911 parking lot, the 30,000, we're waiting on the invoice. The remaining balance reallocated, that was to the striping for 36,656. The mulching head, I just got with Public Works Director Griffin. He will be ordering that this week. It came in under 30,000. And then the actual 2024 LRA, there's a typo on that one. The balance should be 515,409.41. That's what's remaining left to pay for the LMIG for 2020.
515,409.41.
Correct.
And we were just approved for an additional,
2026 LRA that we have to apply for.
but
Got to apply by June the
we gotta
15th.
apply, but we'll get it, and it'll be 1,018,000.
1,016,000.
It should be
Thank you, get down just a little
It's
bit.
just.
Like 2 levels.
So we'll need to schedule a work session for that, right? For the,
Once we're receive the funds, because that's contingent upon our audit requirements, DCA reports all being filed timely. And right now we're in talks with auditors and they believe we should have everything done by next week. If not, it will be shortly into probably the first meeting of April.
you're talking about, you're talking about ARPA funds, I'm talking about.
LRA money, you still has to be, you have to be in compliance with DCA and DOA to get
So that's
those
the
funds.
same as what we do.
Correct.
Okay,
We still have the same financial obligations to receive those funds.
yeah, thank you.
Before we move further, there are a couple of people in the back standing. There are some seats up here against the wall. You all want to sit. It's going to be a rather long meeting. I don't know how long y'all plan on staying. Okay.
No more questions. Now next, department heads. Do we have any department head
No, sir.
like to speak?
No, sir. Not tonight.
Citizen comment? All right, let me read this. Speakers must contact the county clerk at Stevens at Meriwether County, Georgia.gov or 706-672-3460 on before the dates and times listed below in order to be placed on the agenda to speak. Speakers must provide their name, address, and topic they wish to discuss. For the second Monday of the month, 6 p.m. meeting, speakers must email or call before 5 p.m. on the day of the scheduled meeting. For the fourth Tuesday of the month, 6 p.m. meeting, speakers must email or call before 5 p.m. on the day of the scheduled meeting. Speakers must direct their remarks to the board and not to individual commissioners or to the audience. Personal disagreements with individual commissioners or county employees are not a matter of public concern, and personal attacks will not be tolerated. Speakers will be allotted 3 minutes to speak on their chosen topic as they relate to matters pertinent to the jurisdiction of the Board of Commissioners. No question will be asked by any of the commissioners during citizen comments. Outbursts from the audience will not be tolerated. Common courtesy and civility are expected at all times during the meeting. No speaker will be permitted to speak more than 3 minutes or more than once unless the board votes to suspend this rule. First on citizen comment is Dustin Owens.
Good evening, I'm Dustin Owens, 21158 Roosevelt Highway here in Greenville. Coming before you, thank you for your time, and I just want to make a request and maybe offer up some suggestions on how we are sending out our agendas or meetings, to keep the citizens advised with kind of what's going on and when meetings are happening. I know at one time we were getting agendas and meeting updates and stuff out through the county's official Facebook page, which I would love to see that come back if it is possible for just to help keep citizens more informed and aware of when meetings are happening, what's going on, the purpose of those meetings, maybe an explanation of exactly what's occurring at those meetings. And then also moving forward, maybe looking at some other electronic means or something. I know traditionally, legally, they've always been advertised in the paper, but with more and more print media going out of circulation, more and more people moving away from print media into more of the electronic age, maybe a consideration of establishing an email list or some kind of an advisement list that citizens could sign up for, provide an email address, something like an automatic push out or something, if that's legal or within the realms of our capabilities. Basically just in the means of covering all the bases of ensuring that each and every citizen is advised in a timely manner so they can know when to be here, what to look out for, and such as that, kind of remove any of this, back and forth or confusion on when certain meetings are taking place. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on citizen comments, Mr. Charles Hudson.
I went to the building zoning about a few weeks ago and got a business permit, business license renewal for my property on Raleigh Road. And at the same time, I carried all three of the people at the zoning office, several pictures of Chad Fuller's shop on Brown Road in Cove. It's at the property of Larry Brown. And this property is zoned agricultural residential, and the rest of just his house is, rest of the land's in the conservation program. Chad Fuller is operating a shop there, has two shop buildings, has two lifts in there that he changes oil, works on cars, does everything, runs a towing business out of there. And that's violating his conservation easement. And I showed the people at the zoning office the picture of his junkyard and everything. And this weekend, a friend of mine and I were flying around, and evidently the zoning office is making him move some of this junk that's down at the road. He's moving it right up on the hill that it looks like a 2-acre junkyard up there now. You can see it. I know they told me at the zoning office, they can't fly a drone or anything and look at this, but you can still see it until the leaves put out one of those trees. If you go past Larry Brown's house and look to the left, there's a humongous junkyard. Junkyards are supposed to be in industrial areas, and they have to get approved by the board. There's a piece of property that's already approved south of Woodbury, and I had the feed store for a junkyard. It's already been approved by the commission. It's also industrial. So, and also the environmental concerns. Junkyards are supposed to have all the fluids drained when vehicles come in there. All that, if they drop oil and radiator cooling on the ground, it's going right into the Flint River. I mean, we have these zoning ordinances, and if the county's not going to enforce them, why do we even have them? It's ridiculous. It's they're using that to pick the winners and the losers, and let some of these people not have to buy commercial property or anything. And it devalues every person in this county who owns any commercial or industrial property. And I called Cassandra this morning. She didn't answer my phone call. I called back. They said she was in. They transferred me to it. It went to her voicemail. I left a message. She never returned my call. And then I called back a couple other times and nobody would even answer at the zoning office. So, hey, here's the picture if y'all want to see it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Charles.
You're welcome. But y'all probably don't care either.
This also, it's a packet. It's one copy. It's one set.
Next on the list, minutes. Minutes, March 9th, 2026, work session at 4 p.m. Everybody had a chance to look over the minutes?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from the work session.
All in favor? March 9th, 2026, regular meeting minutes at 6 p.m.
One typo in those, under the commissioner's comments, Beulah Evans Road, Beulah is spelled wrong. I'll get that fixed. So you don't have an updated copy, but I'll take care of that.
I make a motion, we approve those minutes.
Second.
All in favor? Now let's continue the public hearing. Case number PC 26-004, request from Robert Williams to close approximately 4,144 feet of Dobson Road, beginning at the southern corner of 2171 Dobson Road and extending north to the corner of 969 Dobson Road.
I make a motion to go into public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
I will start at 50 pounds. Good evening, how's everyone doing?
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
This is a continuation from 2 weeks ago. You guys had wanted to get the responses back from the remaining department heads that had not responded to me. And you do have a part slip in your packet where Public Works did respond. They had no problem with it being closed considering the bridge is not safe for traffic for DDOT and Brian. 911 did not have an issue with it closing. Sheriff's Department, I actually talked to the Byron himself, and he and Danny had talked, and he doesn't have a problem with it closing as long as they would have gates and have access to the gates, whether it be key code or by key itself. The fire department said that they had rather see it not closed. And Danny had wrote, as you can see in your whole paragraph there, that he wrote out there and that he knows that it does, the maintenance of the roads can be extensive, that they can also be vital routes in the event of natural disasters such as tornadoes, etc. The roads does not have a low, the road does have a low weight bridge at 7 tons, but they felt they could still use the bridge with ambulance system response for us. And the bridge, even in the failure of the bridge, they could go on cleaner road for citizens. The road has some rocks outcropping. They feel they can still travel and navigate those roads. I do have the applicant here that would like to speak as well.
Evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Bob Williams. I'm the property owner. This road, as I think Cassandra described last time, it's a dirt road. It's very poor condition. The part that we're talking about closing is just the part that's creek bottom leading down to Flat Hill Creek on each side of it. It's kind of the center section of a 2-mile road. This is the middle section that just leads down to the creek. The road itself is terrible. It's built on bedrock. Basically, there's a lot of exposed bedrock, and so the county work folks do their best to maintain it, but it really cannot be maintained. It washes out. Whatever work is done on it washes out with the next rainstorm. The bridge itself has been given DOT's lowest rating. It's essentially condemned. I don't know what the real weight limit on that bridge would be today. Nominally, it's 7 tons, but the cavitation activity of the creek during flood time. In fact, when Flatshaw Creek floods, it goes right over the bridge, has eroded the foundation severely, and I think that's a reason for the DOT listing. It's been given DOT's very lowest listing. We have terrible problems with dumping and night shooting and just bad stuff going on the road after dark. The road is not used by the public for normal property uses, but it is used at night. Ironically, most of the license plates I've seen after hours from people doing this are not even from Marietta County. They're from one of our adjoining counties. And I would love to see this close. I'm happy to work with the county as needed. I believe there was one comment from the fire department in terms of access. We've been on this road for more than 35 years. It has never been used for emergency access, not even once. The one time it could have been, the fire trucks cannot cross that bridge. We had a prescribed burn that got out of hand and we needed a fire truck. The fire truck came from the other side of the creek to get to the property that we needed. They could not have crossed the bridge and told us they couldn't cross the bridge. We have two residents of the road. Neither, I'm one of them. The other one, Lane Poston, he's on support of this application. I think that what we'll result with is a partially closed road where access to everybody who lives on the road and all the property on the road will be available from one side or the other. That won't change. The county will continue to maintain the flat parts of the road that can be maintained, and the part that the county can't maintain because it's just not suitable for a road will be my problem, not the county's. I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
If I can ask a question real quick, like not to him, council, we were already in a public hearing for the last one. We continued it, so I don't know if it matters or not, but do we need to retract, making a motion to go into a public hearing again, or?
Well, your motion.
It doesn't matter.
To the public hearing,
Okay.
you're fine on that regard. What I was gonna bring up was, your normal procedure is after Cassandra gives the planning department's, recommendations, et cetera, is to allow the proponents to speak for up to 20 minutes. You allow those in opposition to speak up to 20 minutes. It sounds like that was done to some extent last, I don't know if the full time was used, et cetera.
Nobody spoke.
Proponent just spoke for 3 minutes and 2 seconds. I don't know if y'all want to make a motion to allow opponents to have a set amount of time to speak in addition, because this is more than just the standard rebuttal that's normally given. Y'all have the ability to set to deviate as a majority, but as to time requirements. And ordinarily, your ordinances do say that you will provide equal time to both proponents and opponents.
I think what we're waiting on was actually just the additional information from the other department heads.
Yes, we spoke last week.
My point is that it's even allowed to say an extra 3 minutes. If
Right.
there's any opponent out there.
Then they get 3 minutes.
Yeah, anybody against this road closing?
That solves that.
Anybody for it?
Yes, do we have a statement from GDOT saying that the road condition is a certain level or condemned?
We have the last bridge assessment that they did last year.
And what is it?
Can you explain?
The bridge assessment shows it to be in poor condition and unsatisfactory.
Is that the one that's this page?
Yes.
Yeah, the one in our packet, 45.
They didn't condemn it.
Listed at 7 past the bridge.
They didn't reduce the tonnage on it. They just said it was in poor condition and. Have you assessed what the repair cost would be?
I have not, but it's gonna be a replacement. And, of course, like they were talking about, it is full of bedrock. All coming down both hills, but every time you scrape and fill it, it rains, it just washes down to the creek bottom. There's no way to keep it steep. Without lowering the whole road itself, includes blasting, ripping, stuff that would not anywhere near being able to accomplish.
Michael, could you give us the law one more time on the abandonment process and if it needed to be reopened?
Sure, for counties to want to abandon a public road, it has to lack use that would result in it having no public purpose to the county. Or otherwise be found by this board not to be in the best interest, if that's public interest, in order to close the road.
Thank you.
Yep. I was gonna do that, and then I was gonna say one more thing too, before y'all vote to close the public meeting. If there are any written correspondences that need to be included in the record, that needs to be done part of the public hearing record before.
So does the county need to have any kind of access through this road at any time, you know? For future needs of, I mean, like a gate, I know I'm assuming he's gonna put up a gate, but do we need to access this road for any reason?
The fire department's interested in having gate access.
Sounds like the sheriff's office too, as far as just in case of emergencies.
If somebody was down there at the bridge and an incident happens, they won't be able to try to get down there.
And the owner, Mr. Williams is agreeable with that, correct?
Yeah, but he's already got a 911 access on our gate of our
Okay.
property that is saying,
Okay, thank you.
If it's can do it with a gate.
So how do we mark that so that when people get down there, they're gonna have to have a spot to turn around if they're not familiar with that area? And so they are a citizen of the county that was going through that way for whatever reason. How do we mark that, or where are they gonna turn around? Is there a safe spot to turn around, or they're gonna have to back out the road? I mean, I'm concerned if someone gets down in there.
We'll have to build a turnaround on each side, some kind, and then posted, of course, as, dead end, no through traffic, signs on both sides, kind of mention it. So that they know that it's closed.
They don't read those, so we'll need a turnaround.
Yeah.
And post them.
But I do have a question. Is it concern of the road itself or of the bridge itself?
Long term, it's the road itself. It's unmaintainable. Bridges can be replaced.
Right.
But the road would have to be deconstructed to be reconstructed.
Gotcha.
The bridge is expensive, but it's easy. Road is not.
In your opinion, what would it take to get the road in this area,
Including
including the bridge, up to the standard?
You'd have to contract out somebody with some dynamite to blow up the rock. Probably 20-25 feet down on each side to get it down to some kind of resemblance of level, so you get something to stay. Because right now it's a waterfall.
Let's stay in the dirt road, right? Is there any way to asphalt that section?
It's just gonna slide on the rock and see.
And the area you're proposing to dynamite would be not in our right of way, we'd have to take right of way, or
No, it would
get
be
some kind of easement in order to do that?
It'd be in the dirt
Okay.
on county road.
Any more questions?
I think no matter what the decision is here, I think there's gonna be a definite need for access. Based on a couple of departments that have stated that in case of emergency, but that's just my opinion.
I agree with that statement.
Yeah.
So there's no other comments, we need to come out of public hearing.
Make a motion.
Any other questions?
I don't hear it. Need a motion to come out of public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
If there's no other discussion before the board, I'd like to make a motion since it's in my district. I'd like to make a motion that we would temporarily close the road until such time the county could get the bridge and road up to county standards and provide a gate controlled by the county staff for allow emergency services.
Second.
All in favor? Appointments. Any appointment?
No, sir.
Unfinished business. Approval of smart cop contract with revised language and 1.6 million liability coverage.
Commissioners, I'll go through this, but we may want to table it because Smart Cop has not came back with a contract. Their legal was out of the office, but they have agreed to a $1.6 million liability, and Michael can speak on what's that referring to, because I wanted to bring it back because there were language about the limited liability in that they would not budge on it, but they agreed to 1.6. Now let legal explain that part to the board.
So in this contract, it had a limitation of liabilities clause. We originally suggested that they strike it. They did not want to strike it for obvious reasons. Then we thought we had a consent at the last meeting to allow them to back it up with liability insurance to protect us and limit that to a certain amount. That was either a misunderstanding or they had a second thoughts about it. Anyways, they then subsequently suggested that they needed a set amount of liability. I believe Nathan spoke to their attorney last Friday.
Correct.
And basically they negotiated out a 1.6 million. It would be for it'd be for anything that is not indirect, consequential, incidental, or exemplary or punitive damages. So we have asked them to remove one word. We're still waiting to hear back, and that word is special damages. So we're waiting to hear on that regard. But essentially, and you've heard me say this before, the incidental damages are the damages that don't come directly from an injury. They come from things further, less foreseeable than the actual injury itself. And so this liability would not apply to that, but it would apply to direct damages caused by some kind of breach of the contract.
So I'll make a motion, we table to Monday, April 13th, 2026 regular meeting. Second.
All in favor? Approval of grant writing proposal from Ms. Tara Cole. This was tabled at the March 9th, 2026 regular meeting.
Commissioners, I spoke with Ms. Cole emailed me. She has signed the agreement that legal has proposed for a flat rate of $35 per hour. She did mention in her email that bigger projects, that if she goes after $8 to $10 million grants, she would have to hire additional staff, and she'll bring back another proposed contract at that time. But she has agreed to the flat fee with no changes to legal's proposed contract, and that is signed. I do have a signed copy from her, and she was going to try to be online. I'm not sure if she's online or not.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Consideration of approval of change order number 3 and 4, annex roof, courthouse roof project. This was tabled at the March 9th, 2026 meeting.
Commissioners, this is a either or we don't have to do it at the moment. This was for the annex roof, the little small building that sits off to the cell by itself. The roof on it, it looks like it's in very good condition right now. This is to change the order to make it look uniform with the courthouse roofing that's going on. So we can either do number 3 for $27,720 or number 4 for $45,045, or we can hold until the end and see, but I don't know. With the contractor with roofing, once they're done with the courthouse roof, will they come back on site and do it? So I don't know how much time we have to decide, do 3 or 4, or just leave the roof like it is right now in the annex building.
Is this the flat one or the?
I think it's the building solo once you're coming back towards Greenville.
It's a flat one connected first and then.
I think it's a small one in the back.
Okay.
Is that, I think Travis is it.
Pitch roof in the back.
Yeah, because there's a flat one right before. Okay.
And like I said, this is just to keep it uniform across with the courthouse roof, the match.
So
around the whole
which
square.
proposal is to keep it uniform, 3 or 4?
3 is what you would match.
Yeah.
With. We'll put it on the.
That's a 27.7 for me.
So,
Actually, it would be 24 because that had a markup on it,
Okay,
so it's 24 now.
so what is number 4 then for more?
it's for a 16-ounce standing seam copper roof. So it has more of that copper look. If I'm not mistaken.
But the 20-something thousand will match what's going on the main part of that.
Great,
Okay.
that's that dark bronze.
And are you certain of the 24 number? Because we're about to make a motion with a not to exceed. So it's, okay. All right, I'll make a motion to approve option 3, not to exceed $24,500, just in case.
Second that.
All in favor? Now the new business request from Airport Authority for local match for airport apron rehabilitation.
Commissioners, the Airport Authority is here. We just had a work session. This is for that apron rehabilitation. I believe the estimated cost is $200,000, and I'll let the Airport Authority speak on that behalf.
That's correct. I'm Mike Watkins from the Airport Authority, Chairman, and we're requesting this amount of money in order to get the $1 million from the government to rehab our apron there in front of the fuel farm and the blue hangar. So we're requesting not to exceed $200,000 local match, and the $1 million will come from the FAA GDOT.
And Commissioners, I would like to add I would request that this item be tabled to the next meeting to allow me our staff and myself to try to find the funding, get with the airport, see how much they would need before the fiscal year end, and then how much they would need into the new fiscal year.
Well, let me ask you this before we table. The ARPA money, it is sitting there, and I know it's for special projects, but if we're needing to do something and move forward, we could pull it from that. It wouldn't take anything from the budget or have to find something. Is that correct?
It's part of the fund balance, but the motion was to put that in a separate account, and the board would have to approve how to spend that money. That's also where the $1 million advance to SPLOST is coming from the courthouse. So you have roughly $2.7 million remaining in that could be spent.
But if we did that, would it still trigger the special audit that you're concerned about?
It depends on how much they can get done before the fiscal year end. If they can do 300,000, 400,000, as long as we don't go into $1 million in a fiscal year, it won't trigger the single audit.
Regardless of which fund we approve.
Correct.
Right.
So you requested the time to research that before we approve either fund.
Either one, because like I said, the ARPA money is now a special project as part of the fund balance, so it's still, it's part of the general county money. So it's not just saying we're dedicating ARPA funds, it's pulling from the fund balance, or I can look at reducing some departmental budgets to come up and secure that 200,000. Either way, it's going to come out of the fund balance, is what I'm basically getting to.
Okay. So the sooner we move forward, the
quicker they can do the
we
application.
are to get that below where it needs to be.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you guys have a timeline or deadline for this to get the $1 million from FAA?
We don't actually have I'll say that. So 2 things. When FAA has, at the point you have a $750,000 FAA project, that triggers it.
Speak in the mic, Phoebe.
I'm sorry. So at the point you have a $750,000 FAA project and they're giving $1 million to this, you trigger that special audit. So whether there's not a way to do it, the project in pieces. So you're already in just on the FAA criteria.
So it'll trigger automatically.
You're going to trigger it automatically.
They raised that to $1 million threshold now.
Yeah, you're at $1 million in FAA funding. So you're hit it. So they won't let you half it or something.
So because they're giving $1 million.
Yeah, and so the faster you can do this, then we'll let them know that we'll take the money.
And this triggering is going to cost that audit, which is going to cost.
Single audits typically run 20,000, but it is based off of what it expensed in that fiscal year. So if they expend 200,000 this year, 900,000 next year, we have no more federal money, it will not trigger that special audit because we did not hit that $1 million threshold in a fiscal year of spending. It's different than FAA guidelines. Auditors look at expenditures in that fiscal year. It's not the overall scheme in a year. It's 1.2 million. They don't care if they're only looking at fiscal year, not a 2-3 year expansion. Just
so with us now conversing about the ARPA money, does that take away your request for us to table it, or do you still want us to table to give you?
If you use the ARPA funds, like I said, it's a fund balance, so that would be a revenue source. That would be one of my recommendations I would present to the board. Besides, looking at departments of cutting 2% from county budgets or up to 3%. I don't know what the exact cost, but we could use that as just be I'll bring back to the board a motion to use the fund balance to fund that 200,000 match.
Well, then I make a motion.
Well, it's
to
part of the
table-
fund balance.
I make a motion to table till the April 13th, 2026, 6 p.m. meeting.
Now, second.
All in favor?
And I'll bring back a couple options to the board for financing.
That'd be great.
Discussion and consideration to increase the contingency amount for the courthouse roof and exterior project.
Commissioners, due to the recently approved change orders from the courthouse, the contingency fund is now in a negative, and I'll let Travis explain why that's in a negative, because there was a error that he caught when we did the initial change order, the 25,000 and the 7,200. It was actually taken off the initial guaranteed price, not from the contingency fund. So that is actually a negative, I believe, 45,000, 30,000. So I'm requesting that we contingency or put back in the contingency fund 150,000. So we do not have a markup of overhead. You'll see in the two additional change orders behind this, there is a markup and an overhead, I think of 10% roughly. This contingency fund of 150,000 funding from SPLOST will avoid that, because we do know there is another 80, 90,000 coming when they get to the other side of the courthouse.
Yeah.
And I'm confident that we can secure this funding through SPLOST, because the balance, we haven't even touched the $1 million that we were approved by the board. And given that time frame, the SPLOST allocation should come in at that amount. I don't foresee using that money from the general fund until we go into the HVAC or renovating the third floor.
So you would like for us to put $150,000 into the contingency fund
To avoid the markup and the profit.
to avoid markup and profit funded from SPLOST.
Correct.
I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
And that will require an addendum contract, and we'll have to get Chairman Worsley to sign it if they lift your name because you were on the thing, but
Oh,
we got a Commissioner
I have
Worsley,
to
but
do,
it,
I was
unless,
the chairman at the time of the
yes,
contract.
the initial contract.
Approval of courthouse change order number 8, recalking exterior windows.
Commissioners, we have River City contract and submitted change order number 8 for recalking of the exterior windows. The scope of work includes removing the existing caulking around all exterior windows and installing new backer rod and sealant. This work applies to all exterior windows across every elevation of the building. The breakdown of the change order is $13,848.22 for the base work, $1,384.82 for overhead, and $761.55 for profit, totaling $15,994.59.
Yes.
And then by opening that contingency fund, this is where we avoid this overhead and profit markup. And I think what you have now is the list of those change orders and what it would do to the contingency fund.
Did you hand these out in order?
Yes. It should be.
Yours probably need more.
I'm not in order. I'll just listen. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, good evening. Okay, so the first document that you got is the change order log today. And so with PCO number 1, as I stated last time, and what John said, we actually took $25,000 off the contract amount. We didn't take it from the contingency. We actually reduced the contract by $25,000. And so that skewed my contingency log last time. So I have updated the contingency log here. And actually, the way we did it was fine. I just didn't know that when I created that document the first time. So I also have, last time you guys approved the $7,200 deduct to delete the 4 inches of base insulation. So I have another document for you to sign, and we'll reduce the contract again by $7,200. And so also, like you guys just talked about, if you add the $150,000 contingency, we will avoid the markup of overhead and profit. And so the numbers that you see here in pending, because we were over and I didn't know if we were going to add contingency or not, they do show overhead and profit here. But on the contingency log here, they don't, because you see this yellow line that says we add 150,000 to construction contingency amount. So we were over 31,746 with the 3 change orders that we approved last time. And then there are some additional change orders that you see here. Number 8 is to remove the old caulking and replace with new backer rod and caulk the exterior windows. That is, you've also got that handout this time in your packet. Once again, you don't have to approve any of these, but we've got the scaffolding there. We can dig out the old caulking, put it in back rod and caulk those exterior windows for you. You can do it at another date, but we're there. And that's $13,750. Number 9 and 10, I've estimated some costs. As we discussed last time with the structural repair to the roof, I did not have the engineer's cost because we don't get those until we're done and the engineer actually comes to the job site and signs off. But I've estimated those costs at $6,000. And then you'll see it with number 10. 10 is kind of related to number 5, which is the first one, $29,950. This is the additional caulking that we talked about last time up with the stone. So I've estimated that high. All these estimated costs are high to try to give us some other cushion in the contingency. So you see, I estimated that cost of $35,000, whereas before it was $29,950. Another new change order that's in your packet, number 11. We've identified 42 bricks on the north and the west elevation that are either damaged or cracked. And I've got some sample pictures in there that show you what happened. For $21.84, we will cut those brick out and replace them with a brick that matches, and you'll have a smooth, clean brick there. Number 3 is what we talked about earlier. That's the $24,000 for the new metal seam roof at the annex roof. And then I've estimated, just again, for broken and cracked bricks on the south and east elevation. Once we get on the scaffolding there, I can get up closer to those bricks. Once again, before it was $21.84, and I've estimated $3,000 here, just going a little high. But that's basically where we are. So you can see if we add the 150, we started with a negative 31,746, and if all of these other change orders are approved, that would leave us, and my estimated costs turn out to be exact, $34,320 in the contingency. And hopefully at the end of the day, you'll have a lot more than that anyway. And we'll give that back to you at the end of the job.
Travis, I do want to clarify on the papers that you have that has the markup on it. The ones with this one, since we added 150,000 now, will not have the markup.
That's right. This paper does not have the markup. This one does because it was proposals. And so
yeah, the one I just read out, change order number 8, will now be $13,750 with no markup if approved by the board.
That's right.
With the markup, it was $16,000 roughly.
Correct.
Yeah, you can see that on number 3 where we went down to 24 and
you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thank y'all for adding that contingency and not charging us that markup and overhead because we added back to it.
So right now, per the agenda, we're only looking at items 8 and 11.
Correct. 9 and 10 are estimates based off of the north and west.
So we'll come back with a
when we get those
solid
numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I got a question. I'm looking at the last page, the picture you got of the brick.
Yes, sir.
Got it highlighted in green or circle drawn around it in green. Just to the left of that green, I see that wooden structure there. Down at the bottom, it looks like it's about rotted too.
Yeah.
That's that's the brick mold. Y'all replacing that with PVC?
We have not got that in our scope of work. No, sir.
It's not part of scope of work.
No, sir.
Can we add it?
Because I mean, it's in the picture. I would have liked to seen it added on since it's right there, obvious. But that's brick mold that's rotten. And now we replace it with PVC brick mold. We won't ever have to do it again.
We'll give it back.
You'll definitely get that.
Thank you.
So we're on.
Any more questions?
Okay. So we did increase the contingency. We're still on number 2, or we moved to number 3?
We're on 3 now.
We're on number 3 for change order number 8, which according to the handout that was just given will be $13,750 due to caulking of all the exterior windows.
At every elevation level. I'll make a motion to approve courthouse change order number 8.
Second. All in favor? Thank you.
And we just
Approve the courthouse change order number 11, replacement of bricks on north and west elevation.
Commissioners, this one is $2,184 and your packet is $2,522.52. Because we added 150, the cost is now $2,184.
I make the motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Number 5, approval of section 5311 Public Transportation Service Agreement for the operation of Three Rivers Regional Transit System for the fiscal year 26.
Commissioners, this agreement outlines a partnership between Meriwether County and Three Rivers Regional Commission to operate a section 5311 rural public transportation program for the fiscal year July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. Under this agreement, the Three Rivers Regional Commission will manage daily transit operations, including schedule, compliance, staffing, and maintenance, while the county provides funding and vehicles. The service offers demand response transportation for residents, typically requiring 24-hour notice, and operates at least 5 days a week to support public and human service transportation needs. Total cost of this agreement is $25,900, which covers operating and administrative expenses for the transit program, with no additional vehicle matching funds required. This amount represents the county's maximum financial obligation for the contract term. This was the same amount that was approved last year.
Where's the funding, Tom? General?
It's out of Three Rivers. It was not budgeted, but we did need a budget amendment for this amount, and we'll bring that back to the board. This was an oversight when we did the budget that we did not put in the $25,900.
So there's no action now until you come back with a budget amendment.
Well, we can approve it, but it's just gonna put that line item over until we do the budget amendment. And I did confirm that this covers to June 30th, 2026, and they will get the new contracts out hopefully prior to July 1st of 2026 for the new fiscal year.
Does this need to be signed by the chairman or vice chairman?
Yes. It will be.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to approve and allow the chair or vice chair to sign.
I'll second.
All in favor? Number 6, discussion of Moss Bowden Road.
Commissioners, information provided by Building and Zoning indicates that Hossbound Road is believed to have been a county-maintained road at one time, but has not been maintained in many years. Records within their department reflect addresses associated with Hossbound Road, including addresses 29, 33, 251, 299, and 561 Hossbound Road, with the bridge location identified at or near 299 Hossbound Road. Public Works Director Brian Griffith advised that during state bridge inspections, the bridge located on this road was identified and access was difficult due to the condition of the roadway. He stated the road has not been maintained over the years, appears to be a power company easement, and was not included in the county's maintained road mileage assessments. He further noted that no information on this road has been found by Public Works. There are no visible mailboxes, and he observed only an overgrown area with what appeared to be a leaning structure. The state has requested the board consider abandonment of the road. Historical records reflect that the Board of Commissioners approved the petition to change the name of the road from Pony Farm Road to Hossbound Road on February 24th, 1999. Pursuant to OCGA 32-7-2 and Chapter 22, Article 7 of the Meriwether County Code of Ordinances, the board must determine whether the road serves a public purpose. If the board elects to proceed with abandonment, the process will require advertisement and a public hearing prior to final action.
So we have no record that says this is a county maintained road or that we ever abandoned it.
We do have a record that it was a county maintained road named Pony Farm Road. The road was petitioned name change in, I think I just said 1999 to Hossbound Road. There are no longer any residents living on that road. I don't even think there's any structures that are not dilapidated or overgrown. So
it is on the DOT list for need repair and structural condition on the bridge.
yeah, and I think what had happened was when 85, it was part of the curvature for 85. And so
is it Emmett or Gene's district?
It's
Must be in it.
It's in my district. In my district, I'd like to make a motion to proceed with the advertisement and the public hearing to proceed with abandonment of the road
when do you want to set that public hearing for? We have to have time to advertise, so I
Whatever
think
Cassandra has to do. I mean, she needs to advertise it with the time.
I was thinking that.
Would be the second meeting in April, is that first of May? So Monday, May the 11th.
yes.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Who made the second?
I did.
G. Number 7, election building, approval of ADA compliance handrails along with concrete steps.
Commissioners, the elections building located at Woodbury Highway is requesting approval to utilize SPOS funds to install handrails and complete associated concrete work in order to achieve ADA compliance on the front and side of the building. You should have a diagram behind this packet of the proposed railing. Staff has attained now 2 quotes for the handrails, and they range from 15,000, and the other quote just came in at 18,000. And we have additional one for 16,500 and a separate quote for $3,300 for the concrete work. That is the cheapest quote that we've got for the concrete work to be done. Staff is requesting a total of not to exceed 20,000 SPOS to cover both the handrails and concrete. Staff will recommend the quote that from Flint Fabrications. There's 2 different styles of railing, steel tube style railing for 15,000. And then steel tube style railing with bollards for 16,500. I'm not
It's the same kind of rail that says he's offered and put ballards in front so somebody don't come up and hit the rail, and then we gotta replace it. But I like to see the concrete pretty reasonable for that project, but the railing part to me is kind of high. I would love to see y'all get another. I think you could probably save $4,000 or $5,000, but
the other quote I got from JP Allen Homes, they were 18,000 for the railing.
I hate.
JP Allen Homes, they were
That's
18,000.
because they're contractors, they gotta hire somebody, but I think it's high.
And this is to cover the front. That's
School
illustrated.
Way more rating than that done in Greenville High School and didn't run that, but whatever the board wishes, I just think it's a little high.
Yeah, we fought to try to get these 2 quotes in as quickly as we can.
Yeah. I make a motion not to exceed $20,000 from SPOS funds.
All in favor? Number 8, approval of inmates housing contracting agreement between Meriwether County and the city of Manchester.
Commissioner, this is an intergovernmental agreement between the city of Manchester and the sheriff's office for the housing of Manchester inmates at the Meriwether County Jail. This agreement has been approved by both the sheriff and the city of Manchester. It requires board approval. And if approved, the chairman will need to execute the agreement. This is to update the inmate housing costs that will be billed to the city of Manchester. And behind it, you have a letter from the sheriff stating what the cost will be, and then the IGA from the sheriff that's already signed in the city of Manchester.
Aren't we currently in the agreement with them?
I think this is to update the housing costs. Cost has increased, so the sheriff asked for a new IGA to be entered into. That cost is now.
So does legal have any issues with this agreement? We've had a chance to review it.
I'm not sure the sheriff sent it to Nathan.
Nathan, I thought reviewed it. Yeah, Nathan reviewed it last week. I don't think he had any issues.
I didn't see anything come back from legal saying anything proposed changes.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve pending legal review.
Yeah, and I'll second it.
All in favor? Number 10, consideration to set a work session date with the Water and Sewer Authority.
Please. Yes.
We missed number 9.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Approval of contract with Tricolor for Microsoft license.
Commissioners, the contract is up for renewal to maintain Microsoft licensing across the county. Legal has reviewed this agreement and will advise the board of any concerns. This is a budgeted line item within the IT department, and upon approval will require the chairman's signature. Michael, I can't remember what the one issue was that legal.
Nathan reviewed this to you.
That they were not going to budge from it. It's the typical, there's 2 things that Nathan reviewed. He's got a highlight. I'm trying to find the.
What was the cost of this contract?
This one is
$38,011.18.
What was it last year?
It's the same as last year.
Okay.
And this
And legal has reviewed this one, or we're,
legal has reviewed this one, and I think Nathan had one concern, but if this is not renewed, then our Microsoft license goes dark at the end of the month. And I think Nathan's concern was that this was a third party selling Microsoft licensing and not have his exact change on it.
I would suggest doing it, if you're gonna approve it like you did the last one with
Legal review.
Legal review, and we can clarify what suggested change Nathan had on his.
so I'll make a motion to approve pending legal review and approval and authorize the chair to sign.
Second.
All in favor?
John, make sure they do the one with the ball. Right.
Okay.
Because if not, we're gonna have people hit them and they're all gonna be bent up.
Yes, sir.
Number 10, consideration set a work session date for the Water and Sewer Authority.
Commissioners, the Water Authority has requested a work session with the Board of Commissioners. Staff recommends scheduling during a regular session. The first available one will be April 13th at 4:30 or April 28th at 4:30. Either date works with the Water and Sewer Authority.
Works with you. I'm good with whatever. We'll go with 13th, either one.
Yeah. I make a motion April 13th at 16 or at 4:30.
Second.
All in favor?
16.
I'll notify the Water Authority.
Number 11, 2026 contact form ACCG Interlocal Risk Management Agency, ACCG-IRMA Property and Liability Program to allow chair and vice chair to sign.
Commissioners, this is an updated 2026 ACCG contact form. This is an annual requirement. This designates the county official contacts, and this is tied to the property insurance discount the county receives. The proposed contacts are for insurance and claims contact, County Clerk Allison Stevens, Safety Coordinator will be myself, and HR Liaison, Human Resource Director, Valerie Chambers. And staff recommends these designations and authorize for the chairman to sign.
It would need to be the chairman to sign on this one.
I'll make a motion to approve and allow the chairman to sign.
Second.
All in favor? Number 12, surplus vehicles, various departments.
Commissioners, you have a surplus property declaration in front of you. It's got a total of 12 vehicles that staff has identified as surplus that serves no longer a purpose for Meriwether County. Staff is requesting approval to declare these items a surplus and authorize their disposal in accordance with county procedures. We would put these on Gov Deals. I'm in correspondence with them and trying to get our account finalized with Gov Deals in order to put these vehicles out for bid. We did it last year, throwing it as an in-house, and Gov Deals is a whole lot easier and a lot less complicated.
And there's none of them.
None of these are in service.
In any other department in the county.
No, so they're not running or unoperable at all. They're actually parked in the fence across from the old fuel farm in Greenville, right across the road.
I make a motion to declare the listed items as surplus property and authorize staff to dispose of such property in accordance with county policy and list on Gov Deals.
Second. All in favor? Number 13, discussion of property taxes.
It is. I actually asked for that. So got to be at a meeting. A couple of y'all were there too. Ran across somebody that I think's rather intelligent individual, and she made a recommendation and statement, and I thought it was pretty good because we have our taxes to be paid right now before Christmas every year, and I know that brings hardship to some people. So a suggestion by this individual was that biannual we could do it, or twice a year, maybe in June, and then maybe in December, split it 50% in June, 50% in December. We do have an aging population in this county, and I know that it does put a burden on some individuals. I think it's a good idea. I don't know if that is the specific idea, or another person that I was discussing it with also said maybe on your birthday month, pay the taxes. But I think that the 50% and 50% actually sounds pretty decent. The people pay half the taxes at the end of June and half the taxes in December. I don't know how that would affect us financially. I don't think it would really affect that much.
Commissioner Thurgood, I can speak on that because I have experience in that. In a municipality, they did half and half. But the city I came from did the prior year and then the next fiscal year. That was more of a burden for budgetary purposes. Doing it, if we revise our ordinance to do a split like that, it will have no financial impact. We can still budget the correct amount. It's just collection amounts.
I think it's something we really need to consider for the citizens here. I think giving them that 50% and 50% gives them a little bit more time to build up and pay. And it may actually get us paid in a more timely manner as well.
And we can research the ordinance and get with legal and see what needs to be done and make sure the tax commissioner is able to split those payments out on the billing notices. It will increase the cost of mailing and postage, but that's a minimal cost.
Right. But I do think it was a really good idea.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good idea.
But if the board would like staff will research and bring that back to the
I'd like
board.
to bring it back by the April 13th meeting if we can.
Okay.
For consideration.
It was just a discussion.
I put that, yeah. Well, that was just a discussion.
Discussion,
So,
not an action item.
yeah, I'd like to bring it back on the
Yes,
next.
sir. Staff will do.
So good idea.
Good job.
Thank you. Number 14, Lake Meriwether Baseball Field.
Commissioners, last meeting, I brought a proposal or what I thought would be an estimate for the Lake Meriwether baseball field for the 14U. It was estimated at 15 to 20,000 being funded out of recreation funds at United Bank. I've received 2 quotes and I got a third contractor coming on site tomorrow. The low quote right now is 26,850. The high quote is 34,449. That's for the whole perimeter, dugout, entranceways, and everything. Once I get the third quote, depending on that amount, with 20,000 being the high, I would request that not to exceed $30,000 out of the recreation bank account. It currently has a balance of what is that amount? $57,457. So there's plenty of funds out
What
of
is the lowest
recreation.
one?
The lowest one is 26,850, and this contract is out of Sonoya.
What was the highest one you said?
34,449.
So I'd be comfortable going in possibly at the lowest, not to exceed that lowest, and then in hopes that the next one comes in lower than that.
What did we,
Sorry, go ahead.
what did we originally approve?
Up to 20,000. I estimated 15 to 20, but with the price of everything, this one, the lowest bid, he's actually came on site. The other one did it based off of the drawing that was submitted, but the 26,850 actually came on site, measured, and did everything he was supposed to do. And I will be meeting with a third contractor tomorrow morning, and hopefully I will try to get him to give me a bid as quickly as possible because they need this field as quickly as possible. Public Works has done an amazing job on clearing the landscaping. They've done work on the infield, getting it ready for baseball. We just need to have the fencing done. And we do have the funds at recreation where it won't be taxpayer dollars. It'll be revenue generated by sponsorship, recreation fees, concession sales. So it's not a burden on the taxpayer. It's being funded through the rec to pay for something the recreation department needs.
I make a motion that we approve the quotes not to exceed $28,000 to be paid for by the recreation department account.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Thinking, well, as soon as we get that, we'll get a contract legal and get that moving as quickly as possible.
Right, let's move right along to a report from the ACCG Legislative Coordinator, this Vice Chairman Smith.
Here are a few bills. We're moving right through. We made the crossover day and we're getting close to the end of legislation. So a couple that we're looking at right now are House Bill 283. They're delaying the implementation of the digital license readers. There was a deadline that all law enforcement agencies would have to be able to read the electronic licenses by July 1st of 2027, but that is being extended because of the cost of it and things like that they're incurring to July 1st of 2032. So they're wanting to move that back to help out. House Bill 320 is requiring that solar panels and the facilities that use those, they must be recycled. They're not allowed to take those to the landfills or just leave them. They're going to make them take them within 250 miles where they have to go to a recycling facility for solar panels. House Bill 946 will authorize the use of drones for tracking and hunting feral hogs. I know that can be a problem in Meriwether County. So they are expanding hunting and trapping regulations for feral hogs. They're authorizing use of drones. This has passed the House and is in the Senate looking positive. The goal is to authorize these under new circumstances. And they're trying to get a control on the hog population.
Are there guns on the drones?
No, they're not, but those drones will help you when you're looking at that screen on your phone. House Bill 983 will clarify exemptions for certain local burn notices and prescribed burning. Right now, people have confusion over if you can burn when the burn ban's in, depending on certain things. So this will clarify prescribed burning for forest management, which would include burning for site preparation for land for timber cultivation, hazard fuel reduction, understory control, wildlife habitat improvement, natural regeneration, longleaf pine ecosystem maintenance, and timber stand improvement. So that would not fall under your burn ban during those months, but you would still call and get your permits. The Senate Bill 384 would allow motor vehicle owners to renew their registration in 5-year increments. This would allow the owners to get on there and you would pay 5 times your normal. So if your tag is $20, you would pay your $100 and you could do it for 5 years at a time. Senate Bill 569 would authorize tow trucks as being an emergency vehicle so that when it says move over for emergency vehicles, tow trucks are now going to be listed to try to help them out, especially when they're on the interstate and on the sides of the roads, but you move over. Senate Bill 594 would establish digital identity fraud as a felony. This is interesting because it seems to be a problem with like Facebook and social media. So it's actually using the identity of the individual, even on social media, and creating another account under that person's name if they can find who you are. The crime will be a felony and it could be imprisonment not less than 1 year, no more than 20, and a fine of not less than $1,000 nor more than $500,000 or both. House Bill 483 enhanced penalties for crimes against code enforcement officials. They've been working hard to get this so that it enhances safety for local government code enforcement. It would increase penalties for assault or battery against them while on duty. It defines these individuals requiring specific training and imposes higher penalties similar to those for utility workers.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
Report from County Administrator.
Commissioners, I attended a certified public official training in Tifton, Georgia. That class was property appraisal and taxation. Learned a good bit from that one that I did not know by doing the millage rate with the county. So that was a very informative session. It's the same training that the commissioners go through. I really enjoyed that class and look forward to the other classes in that training module. Had a department head meeting, the deputy county administrator interviews. Recreation director, we're still looking. We have several new prospective candidates apply, so I'll be setting up interviews with them. There are a couple out of Noonan, Georgia, that are local nearby. Had a lake. Went out to the covered bridge, got one of the cameras back online and running. Something was wrong with the solar panel, so we got that one up and running. Lake Meriwether now has cameras at the pavilion and at the cabin/collection box. They're up and running. Mark III, still doing renewal discussions with them. They came back with a proposal. We're negotiating that proposal down. That'll be on the next agenda in April for a presentation for the board to consider so they can get enrollment out and beginning of May. So they're moving a little quicker this year. They got to build everything on the back end. Been looking at the fencing at the ball field, and like I said, Public Works has made very good progress on clearing out the landscape and building the infield for the kids. So Brian, thank you to you and your crew for doing the hard work y'all have been doing. And now with the fencing project, we should have a ball field very, very quickly for these children. And that's all I got.
Report from County Commissioners, Vice Chairman Smith.
I just want to thank all the citizens for their participation recently. We've had quite a few extra meetings and the citizens showing up and giving us their thoughts. I really appreciate their input, either for something or against it. I appreciate the input all the way. And thank you for coming out and making this important too.
Thank you. Commissioner King.
Just like to usually thank the Public Works. They're doing a great job. We're getting more phone calls thanking us than we are where we used to get the complaints. So that shows we're making a difference on county roads. And, don't forget, it's another month away, but the first weekend of May will be the Cotton Fair in Gay, which brings usually about 35,000 people into the community. So, be sure to tell your friends about that coming up, and, the staff, just everybody just keep working together, and this board's really working hard together. We're getting things done, and it's great to see that happen.
Thank you. Commissioner Frank Gill.
I just want to say, all the years I've been sitting here, it is nice to have people sitting out here in the audience, because sometimes it is just us, an empty room, and this table of individuals sitting right here. So it is nice to see people out here and want to be involved and things like that. So thank you very much.
Commissioner Worsley.
I'll say the same. It is nice to see the room full. Not just during a public hearing, that the people are interested in what's going on in the county. I think that's very important. I like to thank the staff for what they're doing. There's a lot of good work going on and people working hard. And like Commissioner King said, we're getting a lot of phone calls thanking us and telling us how good a job the teams are doing out there. So that's nice to hear and appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, all I like to say is I'd like to thank the staff and all the workers, workforce and employees. And I'd like to thank the citizens for showing up and being here, because, I mean, you know, if we're here for you, and if you need anything else, we're just a phone call away. So please let us know and keep us advised, because we can't watch everything. But I'd like to say thank you again. And that's all I have. Report from county attorney.
I have nothing to report.
We did
We have need for executive session for
all matters.
all matters.
Okay, I'll read the future meetings and notices. Future meetings and notices: Monday, April 13th, 2026, regular meeting at 6 p.m. Tuesday, April 28th, 2026, regular meeting at 6 p.m. Monday, May the 11th, 2026, regular meeting at 6 p.m. We're closed in observance of Memorial Day on Monday, May the 25th, 2026. We have need for executive session for
All matters.
I make a motion to go into executive session for litigation, personnel, real estate, and tax matters.
Second. All in favor?
7:22.
You go back into regular session.
All in favor?
7:51.
No action will taken during executive session.
Second.
All in favor?